Hello everyone and welcome back for another exciting episode. Today we got something really special for y'all. I'm going to show you how to change your front speakers on your GL1500. Also the process is the same if you want to change out your dash and also take off your mirrors. We'll be definitely showing you how to do that because that is all part of the process here to get to the speakers and everything. Also, if you've noticed something, if you've seen my other videos here and noticed that there's something different about my bike, you would be right. If you notice the little fog lights up here in the front, up here, used to have a little orange cover on it, you would be correct, they did. I had one of them blow off on a trip we was on somewhere in Huntsville. I lost it. Boy, I crunched it too. I was driving and it flew off and went crunch crunch. I was like, oops. So there it was. So I went ahead and took the other side off so it doesn't look as bad. And anyway, but yeah, in case you were noticing, that is what is different. Alright guys, but before we get started, I want to let you know that I will be show you what I'm going to use here, or for instruction manual here. So let me go show you. Alright guys, when I bought my Goldwing, I bought one of these Honda Goldwing manuals, 96, specifically tailored to my year model. And I actually recommend that if you're one of those guys that are like me, that will keep your vehicles to the day they fall off and then you'll just put them back on and keep going, then I would buy a factory manual. I have one for my Ranger and one for my Dodge Diesel. I have the factory manuals and I bought them off eBay. They were a little bit expensive, but not too bad for how much you would pay for an aftermarket detailed manual. I mean, this was $75 on eBay. It was one of the better shaped ones and everything. And there was a few missing pages, but they did copy it and put it in there, so it wasn't overall too bad. So it still has everything in it. They just made some copies and put some pages back in that had been ripped out and gone. So I have everything here that would have been in the Honda book. So I highly recommend getting this. We're going to be using this today because honestly, there's just some things I can't remember 100% of the time. It's just, I need to look at the book for special information that I need or whatever. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And no, I'm not cheating. This is not cheating. Anything that helps you out a little bit. That way you don't make any mistakes. Because let's get face it, guys. Let's do the job right the first time here. Now I've already replaced my speakers before, but I can tell you what. After about 20 years of them being on there, they were gone. So if you've never changed yours and you're getting crackly noises, it is time to change your front speakers and everything. And we're going to show you how to do that here. So now that we got this all laid out and set up, everything's ready to go. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we're going to have to do it's probably the same thing for everything else we're going to do when you work on this bike, is that we got to take the backrest off the seat, off the top compartment, the pockets, and that little cover up there where the key is. And it's practically the same start for everything you're going to have to do when you have to get down in here. It's the same thing. I've shown it to you guys before on how to change your air filter on your GL1500. If you go watch that video, which I will directly put a link in below in the description, or it'll be up there with the poll question and everything. So look there, either one, it'll be there. So if you want to link to that and see if you've never taken off this stuff before and how to do it, I have a step-by-step for that video because that was the first time we did it. I showed it on video how to do it and everything, so that way I won't have to reiterate and just redo everything for this video. So I'm just going to take it off and have it directly ready for the next step and everything. The only thing I'm going to do is remind y'all, if you guys do take the top compartment off, because these are very important and overlooked, I'll mention this every time, is don't forget these little levers in here, that when you're taking this top compartment off, that they need to come loose before you pull it off and everything, because they're under here catching the plastic there. It's what helps keeps them laying down there. So that's just a little side note there. So right now, go watch that video. I'll show you how to take it apart and put it back together. And if it's going to be more convenient later on, maybe I'll take that video and make a little hash of it and call it how to remove the top compartment and just combine it. That way it'll just be a reference video for us when you ever have to do it, or anyone new. So that way they know how to take completely the top part of the bike off. If you guys are like that idea, let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can put that together and we'll work on that. So I'm going to go ahead and get it apart. While you guys go watch that video, and then when we come back, we'll be ready for the next step. Okay, now that you can see that I've got it all tore apart, and we're ready to move on to the next step. Now I'm going to make a little pointer here that if you're just changing your front speakers, you don't have to take this completely off. You just need to undo the two bolts here and the two little levers, and just pick it and slide it, and you can leave it connected. You just need it out of your way so you can get to it. Alright guys, so now for the mirrors. Okay, here we go here. Hope you can see all this. Now if you're just coming in to watch how to change the mirrors, this is for you. This is where you step in. Alright, you see the rubber here? Now that rubber just comes right apart. You can see it just, let's see if I can get over here and I can show you how it just comes right apart. You can see how there's a little groove in there and there's a groove in here. When you put it back on, you got to make sure all that groove gets in there, and you can see there's some good points there. So you just need to break the rubber free. Break it all the way around and just get it all out of the groove there. Just make sure it's all disconnected. Some of this won't come because that's where the high tension is. All right, now I'm going to show you guys what we're going to have to do here. All right. Now these mirrors, they turn 2 directions. So we're going to, let's not go that way with it. And oh dang, look at that. That thing was stuck. Well, that's not good. Let's see here. All right, girl, what is wrong with you? Ah, there you go. Alrighty. As you can see in there, there is some Phillips screws. You got 3 of them. It's gonna be kind of hard to show, but I'm gonna do my best. 1 there, and then you should be able to get 2 of them from a certain angle here. And there's the other one. If you notice there, I got cables that come out of mine because I got blinkers in mine. Alright, so those 2 right there need to come out. And when you get those out, you turn the mirror the opposite way. Let's see if I can. Looks like I'm going to have to do some repair work now. See if I can. Well. Anyway. Well, that is a little bummer. This one, the other one's a lot easier to move than this one. Alright, let me get this moving around. I'll show you where that top bolt is. Okay, once you get it moved forward, you got to be careful with these. Luckily, you'll use both hands and just kind of gently move it, because as you can see, I broke mine a little bit. Old deteriorated thing. But when I get it off, I'll put some super glue on it, and away we go. All right, let's see if you can see it. Now, when you bend the mirror the other way, you should see there's 1 bolt right there. That's going to come out. All right. So you get those 3 bolts, and this thing will just flop right down. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one pulled off, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, once you get all 3 screws out, the mirror should just come right off. And as I said, I've got wires hooked to mine because I got blinkers in mine. All right, now we're getting there. Now one of the next things we need to do is we need to get a flathead, and go ahead and just pop this little trim cover off. Get it out of our way. Then we need to take this lever right here, take it off, and all it is you just got a Phillips on one side, or yeah, I believe it's a Phillips. Yeah, Phillips. Yeah. Maybe I can pull out and you can see a little bit, but yeah, a little Phillips there and a little nut. Just break it free a little bit, and then it should just wobble right off and everything. Okay, and then once you get that off, go ahead and take this plastic nut off and everything. You'll just need a wrench to turn it, and it just comes right off. Just be real gentle with it and everything. You don't have to push this out. Just take the nut off, and then the dash will go right through it, so it won't be a big deal. But with the that nut's got to come off. Okay, so let's get that done, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, once you get the bolt out of the little lever, it should just come right out like that. And I want to show you there's a little groove in there. So if you don't think you can take the bolt out all the way and it'll just slip off, you're wrong. It's got the bolt's got to come out. All right, for it to come out. All right, we're almost there. Now we got to take off this little piece right here. Well, maybe we don't have to, but since it's just there and easy, we'll just go ahead and take it off. You just need a Phillips, and it just pulls right off. Just remember that this is what the lever goes on, the catch, so it holds it in place until you want to adjust your windshield and everything. Now we can go ahead and remove this nut. Once you break it free, I took a crescent wrench, and then as you can see, I'm gonna take the washer out, And it is free, and then you can see the dash is about ready to come out, almost, and everything. So once you get this off, go to the other side and do the exact same thing, and then we're just about done, or at least at the halfway point. Quick word of advice before I move on to the other side here, that when you're taking this off, put a screw back in here and hold it, because when you take this off and you're trying to get the pressure on, this thing will start backing in there. So hold this so you can keep holding it, hold that plate where it'll stay even. And then eventually it'll come off, and then you can take this plate off and everything. Alright, just wanted to help point that out because I ran into that issue and I was like, well, I should mention that real fast for you guys. Alright, now that that's all done, I'm going to move to the other side. I don't need to show that on video, so when we get done, both sides will be done when I come back. Okay, once you got both mirrors off and the little knobs out here, got the little crescent wrench, got the nuts off, we are good to go to the next step. Now I also want to remind you, our little thing here, while you got some of these plastics off, if you got some that are broken, why not take time and try to fix them a little bit like I did this one. I just super glued it. It probably won't hold very long once I put it back on, but until I can find another one, super glue is my best friend for right now. Or you can try some of that plastic welding if any of y'all's had any luck with that. I've seen mixed reviews, good and bad. I guess it depends on how you use it. So maybe I might have to invest in one and try to repair some plastics on this thing. But anyway, let's move on to the next step here. Alright, the next step is we need to take this little trim piece off right here. Okay. And we got 2 Phillips screws, one here and one on the other side, same exact place. Take it off, and then there'll be 2 little hooks underneath here. You'll just swing it kind of forward and just wiggle it right up, because it's kind of like a little hook where it grabs on and just needs to come. Once it comes forward, it'll come right out and everything. So let me get the screws off and I'll show you how that comes out. Okay, I got the screws out, so we're ready to take it off. Also, at this time I want to point out that if you notice here that I have screw piles on each side, and that's really to keep the screws separated from side to side for some of the especially that little plate from ever getting it put on backwards, so I don't ever screw up. So that's a little advice for there. If you instead of putting it all in one little bucket, on this occasion you might want to separate it from side to side so you don't get confused and everything. Alright, let's take this off. Now both screws are out. Now, alright, you just got to give it a little pry here so it comes over the there it goes. And this thing should come up. Alright, you see, you want to see, you guys watch me how to just picks right up. Alright, got one that's still stuck here. There it goes. Alright, and there we go. And you can see there's a little hook thing there that holds it on. I'm going to set this down. I actually might take some time to polish that up before I put her back on and everything. Okay. The next thing we need to do is actually, well, the book doesn't say you have to do this. I don't think. But go ahead and oh, okay, I got another screw. I was like, am I missing a screw there? No, I just got one's black and the rest are gold. I don't know why. Someone probably lost something. Anyway, go ahead and take these out and take the windshield off, and then this rubber piece right here will come right off, and then we are there. So you're gonna need a big Phillips, and you got 5 of these. So go ahead and remove them. Just remember where your position is, so that way when you put them back on, you'll have everything in the right position. But I have mine all the way down, so that should be easy to remember. So let me get that started, and then we'll be able to get okay, we just about got the windshield off here. Oh, there she goes. See if I can do this with one hand. Okay, I guess I must have hit a button somewhere, but anyway, once you get the last bolt out, the windshield just comes right up, as you can see. In fact, we can... Actually, we're going to put that somewhere where we don't damage it, because I can't afford to buy another one. So let me pause it here, and I'll put this off to the side. Okay, once you get the windshield off, this little rubber piece comes right off. It's going to have a little sticky tape on it. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to. It's what keeps it on there. Just got to gently peel her back. In fact, really all you need is enough just to get off the dash there and everything. Once you get it clear from the dash, then you're good to go. Alright guys, and that should get us to this part right here where we should be able to, you're going to have to make sure you work it out just a little bit past these. This dash should just come out with a little work here. Let's see what's keeping up over here. See if we can get it just to come. It will come. It's a little stuck here. Oh. And it's getting ready to come out here. Oh, there she comes, finally. Just gonna have to wiggle her back and forth. See what's holding her up. What is holding her up? You know, it's funny, the first time I did this, I don't remember it being this hard. Sometimes these old girls just like to be aggravated. Ooh, there she comes. Just got to give it a little force there. Not too much, because she will break. And let me tell you, finding these dashes is really, really... Oh, dang it. Stepped on stuff. See, that's what not paying attention does to you. Come on. Should just come right about out. Let's see what's holding me up here. That's out. That's out. Oh. We're just about there. Just got to come a little bit further out. And then I thought it was just going to flop out. That's what I get for thinking, huh, guys? Alright, I guess I'm going to have to work with this side here a little bit, see what I got going on. You know, as soon as I hang this phone up, it will probably come right off. And none of y'all will ever believe me. Alright, so let me work it a little bit and getting this off, and then I'll tell you what I tell you. No later than I just shut the phone off, it pops right off. And everything. And it looks like nothing was damaged. It just a little stuck, that's all. Alright, well, just a real quick note here. If you're trying to change out these little air vents right there, they do come out just like this. You can see the little clips. They are a little bit of a booger. I think, yeah, there's 4 of them. So sometimes they're a little stuck on there, but they can be changed out and everything. I think I changed one of mine. I'm not totally 100% sure, but anyway, that's what was a little side note. Now look at that. We are there to our speakers. As you can see, I've got some aftermarket speakers there and everything. They're a lot bigger, a lot better than what the factory was. They were little. These are things, I don't remember how big these were. I think the original factory ones are 40 watt. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me down below, so other people will know. I think these are about 100. No, they're not 110. I've honestly forgot, but they're bigger. They're way bigger and everything, and they sound a lot better. They're not like super high performance, but you know, they're not El Cheapos either and everything. At least I can hear it going down the road, and that's what counts and everything. All right, now I think from here you guys can figure it out, but just in case, you just take out these 4 little bolts here and just replace your wires. It'd be the same as any other, like doing a car speaker or anything. It's going to be the same type of setup and everything. In fact, I will quickly take one out and I will show you guys the wires and everything so you guys get an idea. Okay, now that you can see, if I got the speaker out, you can definitely see where the wires go and everything. And as you can see, this one right here is your little one, and there's your big one. Pretty simple, nothing to it. Should be easy to go. In fact, let's see what size speakers I put in here. Okay, you can see this is my parts in case you're interested. Alright, I was wrong. They're 30 watts each. That was way off. I must have been thinking about something else. But anyway, 30 watts each. Okay, so the original must have been like 15 or something. So these are a little bit bigger, definitely bigger than factory. Not super big, but just a little bit bigger. And there's the part number in case you guys are interested in looking it up and getting some and everything. So, alright. Well, there you go, guys. That's how you're going to change your front speakers there. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this, I'm going to show you how to put this bad boy back together. But first, since we got all these parts off, we might as well take advantage of it and clean up a lot of them that need to be cleaned. My dash needs to be cleaned up back in there. The windshield needs to be cleaned. That could be polished up a little bit. So, while you got this opportunity, why not take a chance and clean up your parts and then assemble it back together and everything. Now I will show you back up to the mirrors and how to get those all back together. There's nothing to it. It's basically a reversal of installation So we'll do that real quick and we'll get that going. So let me get these parts cleaned up and we'll start getting things back together. Okay, once you got the speaker put back in, you can see I've already a little armor rolled my dash up a little bit. So you can just slip that back on there. Now I'll have to use both hands, but basically you just slip it on there, make sure it fits over where it's supposed to. As you can see, these two holes, let's see if you can see, these holes need to go over these holes. So make sure it fits on over there. So I'm gonna have to use both hands because I gotta get this rubber out of the way and get it the feet. And don't worry, this rubber only goes, it's got certain places going. As you see, it's got little tits here. This tit goes in this hole and it's got one in the others. And the sticky tape will help this stick down. So I'm gonna have to work this on here a little bit. It should be no big deal. As you've seen, it was how easy it was to come off. Yeah. So let me work this on there and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, once you got the dash back on, go ahead and put your plastic nuts on there. Just go ahead and just get them started like this. Just get them started a good few turns. That way it'll keep this little thing from falling out, and then you can come back later and tighten it up. So let me get the other side done and we'll get going. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this windshield back on. Now I'll need both hands for this, but I'll briefly give you a summary of how to put it on. It's very simple. Alright, let me get the hardware first. Grab a couple of these. Grab this one, and two, whatever. And then what we're going to do is we'll take the windshield over to the bike, lay it up, and then go ahead and put these in there and try to get two started so that it'll stay up by itself. Those things go in there like that. When you start them like, like this, or, something so that it'll stay in, and then get it adjusted about right, then you can go ahead and just get the others started, and it should be no problem and everything. Alright, so let me do that real fast. Alright, we got our windshield back on. Quick word of advice real fast. When you're putting these on, be very careful. Probably want to just do one at a time. If not, you'll end up like me, like I did off camera, and drop one down there. I had to pull a lot of this stuff out and get a magnet to get in there, and finally got it. Thank goodness I didn't take off too much and everything. But be careful whenever you're putting these back on, but you don't drop them down in there because that could be a hassle to get them out and everything. Alright, now that that's on, and then we got our windshield a little bit cleaned. It's not perfect, but she'll do. She's got some scratches here. That was just, well, they'll just never come out, but she's still good enough. I'll clean her up some more later. But anyway, let's move on to the next step. Next step is, let's put that trim cover back on. As you remember, it just goes on these hooks right here. In fact, let me see if I can show you the inside of this. You can see right there is where they go in. Right in there. So that's where they go. Alright, so let's see if I can get them to fit in there just right. Okay, I'm going to have to do this off camera. I need both hands so I can guide it in there just right. Alright guys, so let me get this on. Okay, we got our trim piece back on, and before we can put our screws on, our screws right here, before we can put them on, we need to get this plate here. Let me show you, maybe you can see here that this plate moves around, and it's all part of that. So when you try to put the screw in, it just backs in. So what we're gonna have to do is go ahead, that's why I told you guys earlier to leave one screw in so that you can push it back out for right now to help hold it. So what we're gonna do is take this off, and then we got to put this cover back out. Now remember, it's pretty flat. So there's one little hump right here. The hump goes on the outside. That's for the lever to have tension on it to keep it in the lower position. In fact, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, that when you take them off, try to leave them in the lower position so that when you put them back on, it's set in a certain position. You don't have to guess or have to fidget with it to get it back to fit in the right spot. I'll put a little note in the front of the video so that way it gets mentioned and you guys won't be like, dang Cliff, why didn't you say something sooner? And everything. So let me get this all put back together, and then we'll hopefully get this thing going. Alright, once you get this clip lock in there, you're set to go. Now I want to give you one piece of advice real fast. If this little knob here, you can see, accidentally slides back in, the only way to get it back out is to take the dash back off, take the speaker, and push your arm behind it and push it back out. This whole mechanism right here, all this is one big piece. So I guess what I should have done and probably recommend earlier is that when you take them off, leave the screws in or put all the screws all the way up so they don't go very far, and that way this plate won't move around and everything. So that's my little 2-cent advice for you. When you do that, baby, put some of the screws like this one back in and maybe that one back in, so that way you'll hold that piece in there and this won't slip back behind it. That shouldn't have slipped, but this one was a little, ooh, don't do that again. Let's not do that again. It's a little loose and everything, so just be aware of that. All right, now we're ready to put this little trim piece back on, and you can see these little clips will go right there. So we need to try to be easy and gentle because this one's super glued. I super glued it back together. It's nowhere near dry, I can tell you that already, but we're gonna go ahead and just line her up, and you want this thing to fit. Oh wait, my bad, I'm getting ahead of myself. We gotta put our little lever back on. I can't believe I'm jumping. Well, you could put this on and put the lever, but it's actually easier with the cover off so you can get the screw in there. So let me grab the little lever here. Alrighty. Make sure it's going the right direction. That's why I said keep them separated. Alright. Alright, I need to get a pair of pliers and pull that out just a little bit more. It needs to be flush. So let me get that taken care of and everything. So let me do that. Okay, now we got that little piece on, and the best way really to put this on is once you get it flushed, put the bolt through, and put your finger on the nut while you get another hand and turn the screwdriver until it picks up. Then you can hold a wrench here and then tighten it up the rest of the way, and make sure you're in the correct position right there. So that way you can see it'll work. Once we get everything pushed back in, it will work just fine. So let's get this green piece trim back on, and we just need to be careful. Now, like I said, remember, be careful with your plastics. They're old and brittle and they break. As you saw, we broke my mirror, or cracked it. Luckily, it's still usable, so we'll super glue it. I've already super glued it back, so we're just gonna have to go with it for right now. But be careful with your plastics when you put them together. Don't beat them. They will break. Okay, once you get the little trim piece on, you're ready to put the mirror back on. It's going to be a little bit of a task. Best thing to do is just start all 3 of them, and then about the same way you took it, move the mirror off to one side, take a screwdriver and get in there and tighten it up. And it's just going to take a little bit of a tedious task because it's it's in a hard place to get with a screwdriver. I recommend, like I said earlier, use a thin bladed screwdriver to get in there and make it happen. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get these mirrors back on, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Just you got to work with it, give it a little time, be patient, and it will go back up on there. It's pretty simple, but it's a little tedious. So let me get to it. Okay, we got the mirror on, and as I thought, the super glue wasn't going to really hold. Well, when we get ready to put the rubber seal in, I'll put a little bit more in here and let it, that way it'll sit and hopefully it'll hold for a while. But you see I got the mirror in there. It's all in there. Yeah. All right, the next thing to do is we're going to put this rubber seal in. Don't remember, these tabs go in at a certain spot, as you can see. Let's see. I guess that one went in there. Anyway, we're going to have to work this in, and you see the little bevel edge in there. It goes inside there, so you need to start somewhere and just work it around and everything, and to get it all the way back over. It shouldn't be too hard. It should go real easy. So let me get that done, and then this mirror will be done. Okay, we got the mirror on. We got the rubber around it. As you can see, that's what we're supposed to see right there, all nice and neat. Rubber goes all the way around. It's sitting in there good. Had to work with it a little bit, and it got in there. Took about 5 minutes or so to get it all set in there. I had to use a screwdriver because there's a little knob in here where the rubber stays tight, and I had to use a screwdriver to help pry it back in there. It fell out. But little stuff like that you gotta fix whenever you do this type of stuff here. And okay, now that one's done, the other side is the exact same way, so I'm not going to show that and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back together, and then we're just about done. All right, guys, we got both mirrors on, and they are looking good. As you can see, this side looks fairly decent. We got it all back in there, nice and everything. Now the rest of this I'm not going to show how to put it back together because, like I said earlier in the video, that you can go watch how to change an air filter in a GL1500 video, but I got that out, but I will have linked at the bottom, and you'll show you how to put this all back together. There's no need for me showing you how to do it twice and everything. Just go link to that video, and it's really nothing to it and everything, guys. Now I want to show you, be very careful. You know, I know you noticed that throughout the video I broke a lot of stuff. So you can see I cracked this, and I accidentally, I don't even know how I did this. I just realized it, but the threads came off my little valve, little turn on. That is very sad right there, because, well, that's going to cost me some money right there. I don't know how much, but I'm going to have to go find out what it is. But anyway, that's no good to me because the threads are gone. And these things, after getting so old, they break. So if you break something, don't get mad. This stuff happens. Look what happened to me. Although if you're feeling charitable, you know, please donate to the channel. This will help go buy a new part for me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go spend months on eBay trying to find one. Probably not months, probably about an hour or so, and I'll find it. Once I find out what it's called, is the technical term for it. Well, maybe my buddy down the road will have one. He'll let me have. He's pretty nice. We'll find out. Anyway, man, it's just not been my day. I've stepped on stuff, dropped stuff, broke stuff. It's just been one of those days here and everything. But I'm hoping this, in the long run, this is going to help you guys how to change your front speakers out. Well, why don't you guys go check out that video so you can watch how to put this stuff back together while I do it. And then we'll do a little ending here. Alright guys, that is going to conclude this video here, and I hope that helped you out in some way. And so now you know how to change your own front speakers or your dashboard or whatever, or take your mirrors off. Hopefully you learned a lot from this video, and hopefully you'll subscribe to see more. That's what we're all here about and everything. Now, like I said before, when you start doing these, you need to be very careful with these plastics. They're old, they brittle, they break. As you saw in the video, I broke a few things. And now I'm going to have to hunt eBay, or not worry. It's either hunt eBay, find out how much it costs, or just not worry about it and everything. But I'm going to have to hunt a little bit and see if they're even worth my time to even buy. If they're a few bucks, sure. If it's $100 item, no, I'm not going to spend $100 or whatever, or even 50 bucks on a little plastic piece. I'll make do without it and everything. So that's a fair warning to you guys who's going to do this. Be careful and everything when you do these type of things. Like I said, plastic's old, brittle, and break. Anyway, I want to thank you for all my subscribers here. This was actually a request video from one of y'all, so thank you. And if you have any other request videos you'd like to see, please hit me up. You can leave a comment, or you can send me a message. All my information's on my YouTube channel. You can get to my Facebook page, Twitter, Google Plus, all that good stuff and everything. Also, if you'd like to see how we do the rear speakers, there's nothing really to them. It's just 3 little screws and it practically comes off. But if you're not confident enough and need a little help, let me know and I'll make a quick video for that. Everything, guys. And also, if you'd like to donate to the channel to help either get us a project bike and support broken parts. Now my bike broke. I'm gonna have to start a fund for broken part bike fund for my bike. It wasn't my day today, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm a little off and everything. I've been extremely busy, and I've been working on trying to get this video out for a week now and everything. Hopefully I'll do a few more Goldwing videos for y'all and everything. So guys, this is going to conclude it. I want to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the video, and please share this with your friends. You go out there and share this video everywhere. And anyone who has a 1500 but wants to change their front speakers or need to do any of that type of work that we covered in this video, share it. Tag them, share it, everything. Share this video with everybody, guys. Alright guys, until next time, I hope to see you guys soon, and you guys stay safe out there.